My sister and I are counting down the days until the 14th annual Coastal Magic Convention happening February 19th through the 22nd in beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida. If you've never been, it is an incredible weekend filled with books, authors, readers, and a whole lot of fun. Basically, it is a getaway for anyone who loves stories and for the people who tell them. Tonight, we are thrilled to be chatting with one of those amazing storytellers, JD Blackrose. JD is the author of The Summoner's Mark, The Soul Wars, The Devil's Been Busy, and then one I read this year and loved so far, the Zombie Cosmetologist series. She's a lover of all things cosmetics, good tequila, elephants, and she's also a master at creating worlds you just don't want to leave. So we're happy to get to chat with her tonight and discuss more of her works. I'm going to pass it over to Crystal, and she's going to explain bingo, the activity that we're doing tonight while we chat, and she's going to get the ball rolling with some questions.
And then we'll let JD introduce herself, and you guys will get to knock that off of bingo right away. So, for those of you who've done this before, there was a link for the bingo card. If I was in my Zoom era, I would remember how to share that with you on here, but I'm not going to try. We'll lose the whole chat. So just know that bingo card I have, it's a 5 by 5 this time. So you have to get 5 in a row. And basically, we're just going to chat and ask JD all kinds of questions from about her books to about her pets. Hopefully, one of our cats at some point is probably going to join us. You guys just mark things off and say bingo in the chat. Amber's monitoring the chat, and we're going to keep track of any bingos. And at the end, we will do a drawing for we'll do a ebook of your choice of JD Blackrose's. Okay, so that's bingo. If you have any questions, we'll figure it out. Just ask in the chat. Okay, one of us will monitor it. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So JD, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're so excited to get to host you and get to spotlight you for Coastal Magic. So why don't we start off by letting you just kind of tell us a little bit about you and what you write, and yeah, just get us started.
Sure. Well, thank you, and welcome to my office. This, as you can tell, is a working office, complete with cat trees and boxes of books right back there. I did not really start writing for publication until I was 45. I won't tell you how many years ago that was, but it was more than 10. And I had been writing because I started writing when I was 7, like it was just something I did. But I got a little bit older, and I had 3 kids, and the babies ate my brain, and all sorts of things happened, and life got in the way, and suddenly I wasn't able to write anymore. And we're gonna meet one bingo requirement.
There we go.
Yeah. This is Teddy.
Aww.
So cute. I love an orange cat. Don't tell my other cats, but the next one will be orange.
We have 2. We have his sister also. He's a big chunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started writing, and haven't looked back, and I'm trying to just continue writing things that I love, and hopefully that translates, and people will love them too. So
Okay,
that's what I'm doing.
awesome. Well, what are you currently working on? What's something that you're writing, or the most recent thing that you've written or released?
So I'm writing something really different, and not terribly coastal magic, but something that means a lot to me. It's a deeply personal book. So it's actually a Holocaust ghost story. So it's a story that takes place sort of back and forth between present day and World War II. Goes back. So for the first time, I'm really dealing with some timey-wimey stuff, back and forth, changing the time, and ghosts, and sort of telling the story of these interwoven families. And it's a real challenge, but it's something that I have a contract for. It's going to be published by Falstaff Dread, which is the horror imprint of Falstaff Books, and I'm actually really excited about it. It's got a romance in it between the 2 male main characters, Stephen and Max, and but it's really a love story between them, but wrapped in this whole ghost story. So it's hard to describe, but I'm really excited about it. And it's coming along sort of word by word, like, like a little bit at a time, but it will get done.
Well, that
Is it
really
going to be, oh no, go ahead, Crystal.
no, you're fine. Go ahead.
Is it going to be a long series? Do you know how long this is going to be?
This is going to be a standalone book, and it's not even going to be a very long book. It's probably going to be about 50,000 words. I think that this kind of dark fantasy, I'm not calling it really horror. It's being I think it'll be marketed under horror, but this sort of dark fantasy lends itself to a shorter, quicker read. There's only so much you can take, you know? So I don't want it to be like, it's not jump scare. It's nothing like that, but it's sort of a deep personal story.
Right.
And yeah, I'm excited to be writing it and looking forward to getting it out in the world one day.
Awesome.
Um, I think I was, well, it's interesting you say it's going to be a standalone because somebody in our CM on Readers chat group today was just saying you can only invite authors that are doing standalones from now on because I'm going down rabbit holes and I need the series to stop.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
tough. It's tough. When I started writing this series, this is the first one. There we go. Demon Kissed. And yeah, and it's up on your shelf. When I first started writing that, I had a contract for 3 books. So I was like telling everyone it's a trilogy. That's what it's going to be. There's the red book, the green book, and the blue book. And like that's what it is. And then people liked them. And so the publisher came to me and said, "Hey, you want to do more?" And like, what writer says no?
Right.
So I suggested that I do a little novella that comes in like between the 3rd book and what would be the 4th novel. And then I wrote 4 and 5, which are out, and 6 is in the process. So I'm like, it's 6 novels and 1 novella, and that's it. We're done. Like, I can't do anymore, and I don't think anyone wants to read anymore. So
I'm gonna I'm having these like tangents all over. Like I write myself and I'm like, come back to that because you just mentioned series and you kind of got into this one being longer. Is this series got an overarching theme to it, or are they all kind of like individual, same characters but just individual little stories?
no, there's a theme. So the way I picture it in my head is the first 3 are like this little arc. And then there's this little bridge, which is the novella, and then there's this other arc. But if you start at 1 and you go all the way through to 6, it's a big arc. So it's like the big rainbow, the 2 little rainbows. Because as I said, it was first imagined as a trilogy. And then the publisher came to me and said, "Hey, like, I'd like you to write more." And I was like, "Well, that's cool because there's more story to tell. What a great opportunity." So I just, continued. But sometimes when I'm at conventions and people are like, "I don't want to buy, because right now it's 5 books and until the 6th one comes out, plus the novella, it seems like a lot." I'm like, just buy the first 3, like, because the first trilogy does like finish. You're not left with this weird hanging, experience. So yeah, that's the way it works.
Um, that's fun because I'm ready to start that series. I do go down the rabbit holes, but I do like. I was so excited. I know we were so excited to see you back on the author list this year because I had gotten this one and I mean I can read it anytime, but it kind of sits there and as soon as Coastal Magic comes around, it's definitely an excuse.
We're also competitive, so we want those reading challenge points,
Right.
Like, she'll be back.
I cannot get over the Coastal Magic reading challenge, folks. You guys are incredible.
It's
Incredible.
pretty.
You're incredible readers. You're incredible
Thank you. You
fans.
should listen to the chats that we see. I'm blown away by most of these people that are reading hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books just for Coastal Magic.
I know. It's incredible. When I was there 2 years ago, the my cat is hitting my leg with his head. I remember how many people came through who had read something of every author that was there. And I was just shocked. I was amazed. You guys are amazing. We love you.
we managed to pull that off last year, but this year I'm not so sure because I've decided I'm going to read series and read a few more.
I don't know. There's 70 plus of y'all
Right.
coming, so I'm
And
gonna
so
do my best.
we've read a lot of after, this is our, what, Amber, I keep losing count, 6th or 7th year. So we have read a lot of the returning authors. So I'm like, okay, I need to read some of the new authors so I can say, I've read everybody. But then then returning authors come back and I'm like, but I really want to read this series.
Right, right.
So I have a funny story about the Zombie Cosmetologist because you posted back in, I think it was June. It was very early June, and my nephew was here. And it's a funny reason that I'm telling you that. And you mentioned that it was in Sound Booth app and everything. And I was just sitting there. The
Oh,
challenge started. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get this book. And he's sitting over there a little ways away. And I
How old is
opened
he?
for
I
his,
think this
he's
might be.
9.
he's
He's
9.
9.
So, but and he's in there, and I opened it up, and I'm like, oh, I just want to listen to sound. I've never heard, anything in sound booth, so I'm curious. And so I pop it open and hit play, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's hilarious. And I dive
The funniest opening. Yes, I had to stop. I backed it up. I was like, wait, what did I just listen to? Hold on, let me set
Did
the
I know
scene.
it? I thought I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and I'm like covering, sorry, and he's like, he didn't pay me any mind, but I was just like, oh my gosh.
And it's funny because it's not the books
No.
aren't at all like racy or
No.
it'd be fine actually to have a 9
Oh
year old.
yeah, but it was like
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's an opening, and it cracked me up, and then I couldn't wait to get back to it, and they're perfectly, I guess Ashley asked her, we have an audience question for those of she
Yep.
asked on the post on Facebook, how many there were or were going to be.
Yeah, so this is the collection. That's what you're talking about, A Wrinkle and Crime. There are 4 novellas in this collection. So the first one, please, everyone has to admire the puns because I spent so much time on them. The first one is called Pluck and Cover because I had to have something that dealt with cosmetology and also dealt with like crime. So Pluck and Cover,
Cute.
play on duck and cover, obviously. Hide and Chic, my personal favorite.
Enjoyed that.
Cut and Dyed, and then Pose and Cons. So when we put the whole thing together, John Hartness at Falstaff said to me, well, what are we going to call this? And I was like, oh, I know. I've had that. That's A Wrinkle and Crime. And he was just
Love
like,
it.
he was like, no. I was like, yes. So
Love it.
that's how we kept it. So there are 4. There is a zombie cosmetologist story in the Coastal Magic anthology.
Right.
Yes.
Gail Martin puts all that together. So there is actually a zombie cosmetologist story in there, and it's never been released anywhere else. So it's
Ooh.
exclusive to the Coastal Magic anthology. So I hope people will read that. That one's very fun. And there are a couple other zombie stories out there. I can't remember where they all are, but I'm hoping that there will be more. The interest since the audiobook came out has been nice. That's really
Right.
been good. So if you are an audiobook lover, the only place you can get the audiobooks, but they are so worth getting because narrators are amazing, is from Sound Booth Theater. So you go to your app store and you just download Sound Booth Theater. Their little logo is like a raccoon with headphones on. And you can get Pluck and Cover, the first one, for free. And then listen to, then the other ones are each $3.99 each, or you can buy the whole set for like $9. And the audiobook narrators for Sound Booth Theater are the best narrators I have ever worked with, that I have ever heard as a listener. Like, they're incredible because they don't just like read the book, they act it out. It's so much more like an old-fashioned radio play,
Yeah. Yep.
It's incredible. They're amazing.
They were well done.
Oh, they're incredible. It's
And
not
it
like
really suited that series, so I would be interested to hear it in others. But I think they did a really good job with taking a series, with the paranormal element and kind of a little bit light in parts and fun, and they did a good job with it. Like, it felt real as much as you could imagine a zombie cosmetologist.
I felt like I was watching it on TV.
Yeah,
Truly, it came to life.
they make the characters sound like people, and which is really cool when you're talking about a zombie cosmetologist, right? Because I haven't met any in real life. So, I
Not that
mean,
you know of.
not that I'm aware. But
Right.
I had first heard, as a lot of people did, Sound Booth Theater. Jeff Hayes, who founded Sound Booth Theater, is the narrator behind Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is a lit RPG that has sort of taken off if you're at all involved in anything remotely related to lit RPG. You'll have heard of Dungeon Crawler Carl and Matt Dinham and the author. And I had heard about this thing and I was like, well, I'll listen to it and I'll see what it's like. And I was like captivated by it. And when I listened to Jeff doing Carl, I was like, these people could do Waylon. They could do my main character, Waylon, because there's a mixture of like obviously the absurd. I mean, Waylon's executive assistant is the ghost of Betsy Ross. I mean,
Yes.
let's be honest. Um, but also there's this pathos, this emotion, because in my case, Waylon wants to die and he can't. So I needed someone who could really do that. And that's one of the reasons why it had never been turned into an audiobook. And now it is, and it's the best. I love what these people did with it. So good.
I've heard positive things of the few who've listened to the audiobook. So
Yeah, everybody's saying great things about it. So
Good. And
imagine.
they're incredible people. I mean, I was listening to the proof files and I'm laughing at things like it's not my book. Like I'm not, like, I didn't write it. I'm laughing at things because they're funny. And I'm like, did I write that? I actually went back and looked. I'm like, did I write that? Because that was hilarious. But it was just because the way they deliver it,
Right.
it makes it so just rich and
Well,
funny.
I think you got to take a little bit of the credit for that, JD. You wrote it
Yeah.
just
I
a
mean,
little bit.
there's this one line where they're talking about this actor character who's sort of a douche bro named Jason Teague. And they're like, they asked, and Waylon asked this one other character, do you know Jason? And she's like, yeah, he's a little bit like Tom Cruise, but with less L. Ron Hubbard. And I just burst out laughing because I did not remember writing that line. And I was like, what? That was funny. So
Yeah, I was listening to them. They were perfect. I love audio because I can do things while I'm listening, and I
sure.
feel like there's so little time to just sit down and read. And I would there those are also a really good length for when you're like, okay, I can't really commit, long term to a really big book that requires a whole lot of mental energy. And I remember packing, getting ready to go out of town, and I'm just like laughing out loud, like with my headphones in at random lines. And I was like, okay, this is good. And like Amber said, it did feel a little bit like watching a TV show. So I definitely suggest that series for any of our readers who have not went after that one. And I will say, I am technologically illiterate, like it's painful. And I had no issues getting the sound booth app and
yeah,
putting things on it and using it. Like it has been really easy. So the only issue I have right now is that I have like 100 different apps and for
sure.
And the
everything. But
and the price for that audiobook, that's worth figuring it out for $3.99.
Yeah,
true.
it's not, we wanted it to be really affordable for people to listen to the whole thing.
Mhm.
Um, and this series starts out in Everand,
Mhm.
um,
Mhm.
which is, they bought the rights to it, but then once they're done with it, it moves over to Audible and like the normal, all the other places. So I know the first two books are available, not just on Everand, but also on Audible.
Oh,
Um, and the third book should be out soon on Audible.
that's good to know because it's in my physical TBR because I want to read it. It's such a pretty book. It's a good size and I can't
Yeah,
wait to
yeah,
sit down and read it. But at the same time, sometimes I keep pushing books off and I'm like, okay, I just need to listen to the
yeah.
audio.
You can get the first two definitely on Audible, and the third one will be out soon because Everand did it.
Well, before we try to hit a few more questions on our bingo, because this time, like, we always get a little nervous and I'm like trying to get all my questions out. And then I'm like, man, where did the time go?
Yeah, it's quick.
But we do have another book just to talk about with you real quick, because I know last 2 years ago when you came to Coastal Magic, Amber and I loved, and I don't know how many books she read in the series. I think I may have only read the first set, and I believe I read it. And I don't know the name of the series, so I feel bad, but it's the Monster Hunter.
Yeah, my Monster Hunter mom.
Is
Yeah,
So good.
thank
Such a
you.
unique take on Monster Hunters and having her be a mother in with all that just took it to another level.
Thank
It was
you.
good.
It's called The Devil's Been Busy. And it also is four novellas in one collection that reads like a novel, like, you just read it. But I'll tell you the secret. This is something that most people don't know, is that the titles of all of those songs, all of those novellas and the whole thing are songs by a super group that you guys would not know,
Yeah.
the Traveling Wilburys. And the Traveling Wilburys was an old supergroup that had like Roy Orbison in it and George Harrison, and it was this, like 1970s group. So if you're very young, you will not know who they are, but you should look them up because their music was amazing. And you can't copyright titles, book song titles, so they're usable. So all four novellas plus the title song, The Devil's Been Busy, are actually Traveling Wilbury songs. And only one person in all the years that I've had that book has come over and said Traveling Wilburys. And I gave him a free book because he recognized.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the names stand out. I remember Tweety and the Monkey Man.
Oh yeah. I
Like
think it
that one.
came up in a Coastal
It
Magic
did.
like
It was a
trivia
trivia
sort of thing,
chat. Yeah.
a couple
It
a few years
maybe,
ago.
yeah, because it's just not something most people
Yeah.
really know or know of.
Yeah.
And the Traveling Wilburys always sort of inspired me because they did two albums. They did their first album, and then on purpose, they labeled their second album, album 3, just to mess with everyone. So everyone's looking around for album 2. There was no album 2. So they were a little
That's
bit,
kind of funny.
yeah.
That I mainly just needed to tell you that that bird lives rent free in my head. I don't know
Really?
why. Occasionally, I just see him, and I'm like, I wonder what he's up to. So I
Yeah.
didn't finish past the first book. He was that was my favorite character. And in the beginning, very early on in the book, when she's having this showdown with this bird, I'm like, what?
Who is this writer? She is weird. Yeah, I know.
But it was awesome at the same time because I was like, this is great.
So good.
And I guess like one of the things on here is inspiration. You always hear that. So, and I'm going to tie this in with paranormal elements as well. So, some of the creatures that you have in all of your Monster Hunter books, and then obviously of zombies, all kinds of different paranormal creatures. Where do you get your inspiration for those from? Do you like zombies? Did you something inspire this big bird that we have in the book?
Yeah, so the whole Monster Hunter Mom thing, just the whole concept came up because I was reading these Monster Hunter books by other authors, and they're all like big guys with big guns, and they're out shooting everything. And I was like, what if the Monster Hunter was a woman and she had like 3 small kids at home, and maybe she'd want to keep an arsenal of guns around because she had a 3-year-old who was highly precocious. So I was like, well, what would that be like? So again, this is a Falstaff thing, and so I sent a note to John Hartness there, and I said, hey, I got this idea, and he was like, well, write me something, I'll see. And so I wrote the first one, and I sent it to him, and he was like, just write 4, like just write 4, and like let's just do this. So it's tied in with his Monster Hunter and a couple other people's Monster Hunters. It's like a shared universe. So some of it comes directly from me, and some of it is stuff that exists in that universe. Like the way the vampires has to work throughout all the books by different authors. So there's a mix there. The zombie cosmetologist thing, I had this idea. I'm driving to work one day, and I had this idea for a zombie investigator. I don't know why the zombie part, but this idea of like this investigator who would solve murders and mysteries for the cryptids of the population, while the regular police like just did regular police stuff. And then I realized that an author named Kevin J. Anderson had really already done that. He has a Inspector Shambles who's literally a zombie detective. And I was like, well, I can't do it because Kevin already took all the good puns. So if I don't have any puns to work with, I don't even know what to do. So I was like, well, what would work? And one of the things about the Monster Hunter mom that people seem to like is that it feels a little bit relatable because she's a mom of three. She lives in Shaker Heights, Ohio, like in the suburbs. Like it's not, this is, she's not some super like unrelatable character. Like she's just sort of like she still has to get groceries and snacks to kindergarten on time.
Hmm.
And she drives a minivan. So I thought people like that because it's something that feels a little relatable. And I thought, well, what is something else that I love and know? And at the time, I had a rather unhealthy relationship with makeup tutorial videos. I would just like watch all these makeup tutorial videos. I don't know where I thought I was going, but I would watch all of these like Lisa Eldridge and all these people who are like celebrity makeup artists as they made the look. And I'm like, one, I'll never look like that in a million years, but it's fun to watch. And I said, was really into it. And so I'm driving to work and I said, Zombie Cosmetologist. And I just burst out laughing all by myself in my car. And I thought, that's funny. That could work. And I said it like three or more times and I kept laughing every time. So I thought, okay, let's try it. And that's where it came
It
up.
did work. Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Well, and I love like you give a unique take on what he can bring to that, like with the cells and like
Yeah, right. The
I was
zombie
like,
cells.
I need
yeah,
some of that cream.
yeah.
Yeah. Reborn
Just don't tell
luxury
me about
cosmetics.
it, okay?
Yeah. He's so the first book I ever wrote, again, it's because I started out by writing novellas for lots of different reasons. So the first three things I wrote are packages of four novellas. The very first one is called The Soul Wars. And that was completely and totally inspired by a writer that I love named Faith Hunter, who wrote this whole series about a character named Jane Yellowrock. And it happens it takes place in and around New Orleans. And she has this sexy vampire who owns this like mansion in New Orleans. And I'm reading like, I mean, there's like, I don't know how many books, but I've read them all. And every book, like his mansion gets shot up and set on fire. And I was like, one day I'm reading it for like, this is the millionth time this poor mansion has to be rebuilt. And I thought, what do the neighbors think? And like that's how the book actually, my book starts is like with this like this, it's still a mansion, so there's land, but she's still on as close to a neighbor, and she sort of goes over there, this old woman, and she like raps on the door and is like, telling the vampire to keep it down. So
I
Yeah.
love that.
So,
What a fun brain you have, JD.
yeah,
it's a weird place, but the fun thing is, years later, Faith actually blurbed this book.
it's funny you said that. I was like, oh yeah, I saw her name on
Yeah.
the blurb for that. Okay, some random fun characters. Which of your characters would you I put character besties on here. Would you be a bestie with, or would you like to have drinks or coffee with? Or just take this time to tell us about one of your favorite characters.
I would probably definitely want to sit down with Waylon because I just love Waylon. I just like him so much. He's really a good person. And he could give me some good makeup tips, good skincare. And Jess Friedman from Monster Hunter Mom is the one who is like sort of most like me, although her life, I mean, she's a mess, right? She loses a shoe every book. So, but as a mom of three, she's just because I'm a mom of three, she's very relatable. Now my kids are all grown, but
But you don't ever truly forget.
no.
It's like I could see it almost being a little cathartic because like one of the parts in the book that cracks me up is that I can think of 2 years later is when you mentioned snacks and she comes like in and she's late and she's all this and it's dirty and she's like, here you go.
Here's
Like,
some,
here's
here's some
snacks.
chips. Yeah.
And I thought about like every person that who's got to bring snacks to school and stuff, and they're going out of their way to be they're all harried and frustrated and stressed, but they're making the pretty snacks and they're so stressed about it. And she's like, "Listen, I got bigger problems.
Doritos for you. Do you
They're
like
gonna be
that's
fine."
great. Yeah. So I mean, was sort of drawn from like a real situation where I had to bring snack to kindergarten and like stressed out about it. And I wound up getting like green grapes and black grapes and red grapes and like breaking them up into like three. So I had the multicolored grapes and like, what was I doing? They're five, you
They
know?
don't care. Most of
Yeah.
them aren't even going to eat it. They're going to throw it on
I
the
think
ground.
that's
But
really true.
I did it for like the teacher and the other parents. And I'm like, what am I doing?
That's why I feel like it was kind of cathartic. Like almost, people say, "Did you kill somebody off?" No, but I once did what I should have just done with snacks and been like, "They're children. Here you go."
Butter set moms, the judging thing. So yeah.
That was probably that's another part. I mean, I haven't read the book in 2 years, and I like vividly see that. I was like, there's no way she's bringing snacks.
Somehow managed to get it done.
She's like, I'm over it. Don't judge me. Okay. Oh, we have to ask because Amber was reading through some of your some information about you, so we could think of some fun questions to ask. And she said, so there's a word it mentioned that you don't like at all.
It's on
Um,
your website, and I just wanted to know. I need more info. You can't leave it at one word and move on with your life. We need to know why that word. It's not a bad word. It's
is
not
it
like
okay if
moist
we mention it?
or
Moist.
ointment.
I hate the word moist.
That's
Oh,
not the
okay.
one, but that's not the one that's on your website.
Crisp. I also hate the
Yes,
word crisp. So,
that's the
which is
one on your
lucky
website.
because most things can't be moist and crisp at the same time. So you rarely have to use them together.
I didn't
But
like those together, I'll admit.
yeah, yeah, crisp. I don't know.
So
It just
funny.
doesn't feel good in my mouth. And moist is the same. It's just
It's
kind
so
of.
funny because like we won't get into it at all, but we've had the conversation comes up sometimes because for that word drives people crazy, and I'm always like, but I don't mind it if somebody talks about like the cake being that way.
The
It's
cake
just
is moist. It's
something,
fine.
yes, and there's just it's outside of that it might be an issue. But one of our book conventions a year ago, we got there and they gave little bracelets out, and it was where you can't. It's kind of cut out of the letters. You had to like look to see it, but it was everybody's bracelet said moist, and I was like, well, that was me.
Yeah. But moist and crisp are just not words that I enjoy. I don't know why. I have so many words that I love, but
I was about to ask, so that was in contrast. Do you have any like favorite words? I have a list of favorite words.
oh, I have so many. Gosh, you put me on the spot. I love the word juxtapose. I don't know why, but
Mm.
I love the word juxtapose.
That's a fun word.
And there's so many words that I love to use. And sometimes it's just what really makes writing good is when the words are combined in a way that's new. So the reason that the opening line to A Wrinkle in Crime is funny is because he starts off by saying he's lost something, and it's not something you typically lose. So it makes everybody sort of do what you said, Amber, like jump back and go like, what did I just hear that properly?
Right.
Because that's not something that typically detaches. I don't even know how that happened.
I've read
So
a lot of books, and that's never happened in any
it's
of
never
them.
happened, right, in the history.
Mm-mm.
So so that's what's fun. Like I wrote a little sentence yesterday about like how this one character had more gravitas than his short stature would normally offer. And I liked the way that phrase came out. Like I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that was good. I like that. So
Interesting. I the top of my favorite word list is now I'm trying to say it's but I love the word superfluous.
superfluous, it's a good word.
I like saying it, and occasionally I'll say it in my classroom. My high schoolers will be like, "Huh?" I'm like,
Look it up. Yeah, go ahead and look it
I
up.
like edification because you can throw that out for anything and it sounds real nice.
Yeah, it's a good
Just for
word.
my own edification, explain that to me.
Right. Yeah. I think for all of our edification, we need to
Edification.
understand. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. There's your SAT word. Use it well.
okay, random question, just because I was starting to go, okay, I just need some more. I wanted to do a 5x5 board this time instead of a 4x4, so there were more
Okay.
options. So, what is your least favorite chore? And do you do it quickly to get it over with, or do you put it off forever?
Hmm. My least favorite chore. My least favorite chore is ironing,
Mhm.
and I just don't.
I was about to say.
It's really easy. I just don't. If it has to be pressed, then it goes to the dry cleaner. And other than that, I wear it wrinkled. Huh.
Yeah,
So,
Who's got time for that?
I and I don't ever iron either. We just steam things. We hang them up and just run the steamer over it if I really need to get some stuff out. But the other day, I found myself just ironing sheets. I don't know why. And I told Bobby not to get used to it, but I also was like, I think this might be the most ADHD putting off something thing I've ever done
right,
because
you must
I'm
have
not
had something.
entirely sure what I'm doing.
You must have had something to do you really didn't want
I
to do
was
with your ironing
like,
sheets.
what should I be doing right now? Because this is probably not it. Which, by the way, ironing sheets not fun. Like you can't get them on the full board, and you're
I can barely
like, this is
fold them, so no.
insane.
And as
Um,
soon as you lie on them, they get wrinkly. So
yeah, exactly. But I don't. I feel like I said, don't get used to it. But the pillowcases did look really nice. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so that one was a fun random. We talked about that. We talked about that. When you do you have like a writing routine? Do you write, certain time of the day? Do you do you listen to music? Do you not? Like
I can't listen to music. No. You you guys have children, both of you, right? You have kids, so or you have kids,
it's
or
just me.
well, just you. Well, okay. When you have a child, the first thing that they tell you in the hospital is to sleep when the baby sleeps, which is impossible, by the way. It's so stupid. It's a stupid thing to say because you need to wash your dishes when the baby is sleeping, right? But I think I have learned to write like right when the baby's sleeping. Now there is no baby, but what I mean by that is when I have a chance, I can write. I can write almost anywhere, and I like to write at this desk if life all lines up. But I sometimes find that I'm at work and I have some downtime, and I can open up my OneDrive or my Google Drive and take 20 minutes and dash out some words. So, yeah, sometimes I have to write when the the time is there. And I believe in sprints. I think sprints are really, really helpful for writers because you don't have to commit to too much time. I personally love 20-minute sprints, but I just gave a whole talk on creating a writing habit at a Cleveland writers conference. And I told everyone if you can only find 15 minutes right for those 15 minutes, like whatever it is. If I can find 3 20-minute sprints, that's fantastic. That's great. And it teaches you to write without stopping, like just letting it flow, because you can always go back and edit, but you got to get the words down first.
You just hit on writing advice because I saw that you had some blogs or some information about.
Yeah, I
about
do. I
writing.
write if anybody's interested, slipperywords.com is the website. I do a lot of writing advice. You can sign up for the e-newsletter. It compiles the latest 3 blogs things and sends it out once a month. And that's all it is. I don't spam anyone. And so you get some writing advice, you get some book announcements.
Cool. I know we've got a few of our readers who are either currently in progress of writing something or would like to write. Nobody wants to read, but I write. I always joke. I said I would just like turn out Beauty and the Beast, like with just different names or something. Like he
Well,
would
I just write the same
like
books I've already read. I'm like, that was already a book. What am I doing?
that's
Okay,
actually
I give up.
fine. That's
Yeah.
actually fine. There are really no new ideas, right? There are no new ideas. Just
I don't know, JD. I've never read a zombie cosmetologist. That felt
okay.
pretty new.
With that
And
one caveat, yes.
I read a lot of monster hunting books, and I've never really dug them until I read a mom monster hunter. So again, I still feel like that's pretty unique too.
Thank you.
One last question, and then we'll kind of do some of our wrapping up because again, this time flies by. It's been fantastic to just chat about your books with you, and
Thanks.
I feel like I know you a little bit better, and that's what these are about. So, last question that I wanted to know is, does book setting play prominently in any of your series? Yeah, the setting.
So the Monster Hunter Mom is set in Northeast Ohio because I live in Northeast Ohio. Sorry. And Northeast Ohio tends to show up a lot. In this series, Bex lives also in Northeast Ohio in a fictional Cleveland called Smoky Point because I wanted to have the lake. and I needed Lake Erie, so I said it here. And if you are familiar with Northeast Ohio, you'll see like in Monster Hunter Mom, the first novella takes place at the zoo, and the geography of the zoo is the zoo. Um, so there's definitely a little Northeast Ohio influence, running through things in a lot of places. Setting is actually one of the things that I have the hardest time with. As a writer, when an editor looks at my books, I actually got the comment once, "Where are these people? Like
Yeah.
where are they? Are they just floating someplace in space?" And I'm like, because dialogue is what I love and what I write best. And then I remember, oh right, they're in my head, I know exactly where they are, but I've been told I have setting in head, not on page syndrome, and I need to like ground them in some location.
Yeah, I knew from the two series that I've read the little bit of, I wasn't 100% sure, but I know some of us love when we, are from a certain state or certain area and it kind of shows up, like even just mentioned. It's like, oh, exciting. That's fun.
Yeah, yeah. If you're at all from Northeast Ohio or specifically from the greater Cleveland area, you'll definitely recognize things in the books.
Oh, that's awesome. And I personally like dialogue. The more dialogue, I'm usually like sucked into that. I love it. Okay, so some of our wrap-up questions that we do at the very end are just to let us know kind of social media wise where people can find you, where you hang out, if they're interested in interacting with you or getting to know a little bit more about your books.
Sure. So slipperywords.com is where I would start with anything. It links to all my socials. I'm mostly active on Facebook, but that links to Instagram, so you'll find me there too. Sometimes I do some TikTok, and then, like I said, you can sign up for the blog, and then, you can contact me through the contact form if you need as well. So yeah, go to slipperywords.com. And then,
I was going to ask Amber if she'd seen any bingos so I could start writing down some names. I don't know if she kept
I
up
haven't seen any bingos, but I am looking.
because we did hit around 16 of the 20.
Yeah, all of them. I've seen all of them.
Yeah,
So
we've
I feel
touched
like
on most everything. Okay, so that is definitely and I closed one of my 8 browsers, so 1 second. That we like to ask that, and then I think I already asked you at the beginning kind of what you're currently working on, which you mentioned was if you want to mention that again.
yeah, so I'm working on this dark fantasy sort of horror book. That's not really horror. Plus, I'm writing the last book in the Summoner's Mark series. So both of those things are going on at the same time. So that's what I have going on right now. I have, lots of ideas for other things, and we'll see where those go. But I've got to finish the 2 things that I have on contract first.
Okay. Well, we look forward to it. I'm excited to hear if I start that series. If I start that series,
Yeah,
it's going to wrap up soon. So, especially knowing it's in audio because that will give me a jump start on it. I'll move it to the top of the list. Well, if there aren't, will you check one more time, Amber, for bingos? And if for right now, I'm going to go ahead and award because if we don't give away the audiobook now, I will forget because suddenly it'll be like, oh my gosh, it's been a month later. So there was a chat. Somebody, Ashley, commented on our chat, so she got an entry. So Ashley's going to get the audiobook. So Ashley, if you're watching, and I can't wait to look through the chats.
just what Ashley needs more
books. She'll love it. So and if I said audiobook, that was my brain. I said ebook, but I'll reach out to you, Ashley, and let you know about that. But JD, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you.
Fun. Been a really fun chat, and like I said, that 45 minutes just flies by. So
I know it does. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in Florida. I'm really looking forward to coming back.
Cannot wait. And yeah, you were there 2 years ago, so the location we're at, it's always so nice to be comfortable. Well, assuming you were there, that to see that and get to see everybody. So I'm really, really excited again. So yeah, we'll see you in February, and we will be reading your books, and I think seeing you at other meet and greets and things of that nature in the next week.
Thanks everybody.
Thanks. Have a great night, everyone.